For this project, I decided to focus on placement options, primarily least restrictive environment, because I believe that is a very important part of the IEP decision process and the IEP itself. So I'm going to start off talking a little bit about least restrictive environment, and then I will show you my cartoons that I made to go with it. Okay, so according to IDEA, least restrictive environment refers to the setting where a child with a disability can receive an appropriate education that is designed to meet the student's individual educational needs with their peers without disabilities to the maximal extent. IDEA requires that the removal of a child with disabilities from the regular educational environment, which I will talk more about, occurs only if the nature or severity of the disability is such that the education in regular classes with the use of supplementary aids and services cannot be achieved satisfactorily. The regular educational environment does not just refer to the general education classroom. It also includes lunchrooms, playgrounds, libraries, the gym, anywhere on that campus that other children may go. The LRE is determined each year, and it's based on the child's IEP. The inclusion factor of a general education classroom is what I'm also focusing on, because with inclusion, diversity is valued, collaboration between special education teacher and general education teacher occurs. There's an achievement of the IEP goals. There's active participation of all students, and the ratio of disabled students and normal students is equal, and each student feels a sense of belonging. And lastly, what I am really focusing on is how the LRE is the final decision in the IEP process. However, many educators like to label and place instead of determining the best placement for the student, not the disability. And so I'm going to show you what I have done here. There. Okay. So this looks like a typical meeting, except you have some stuff up. This is general education classroom rules. We don't do inclusion. No kids with disabilities here. Special means separate. We teach one way. And I chose to do the two people in color here, the mom, and then you have your Sped teacher, and then you have your IEP team members. And notice how there's a how to label and place guide on the table. I did the other members of the IEP team in grays and blacks, and I did the room that way because that's how they see it, black or white. Usually they see that label, and then that's what defines the child and their abilities. So I've also have this one made up where I added little thought bubbles, what people are thinking. Okay, so start from right here. It says this teacher is too busy for this disability in her classroom. She has too many kids, too much paperwork, not enough time in the day. The next one has too much work. Oh goodness, to have this student in my room, look at all the modifications, the accommodations. You have another person, we'll just label him the school psych or the administrator. We'll just stick them in the resource room. That's where all their needs will be met easily. That teacher's qualified to teach them, and I won't have to be involved. So let's just stick them in the resource room. There's another gen ed teacher. Oh, well, that is nothing but a problem. That disability in that child is going to be nothing but a problem and distract my other students and interrupt their work. Then we have another one saying, what am I even doing here? We'll just stick them in the resource room or in self-contained, or let's let's homebound them and move on. And then you have our sped teacher asking, are these teachers even trained? Because she's probably most of the time feeling like she is having to go over basic IEP things. And then you have the poor mother. She just wants the best for her child. Please help my child. So, and I am a paraprofessional in a special ed classroom right now for high school, and I do see this a lot where we do the best at putting our students in the general education classroom or with their peers in the cafeteria even, and you always have someone who thinks it'll be best if they are back in that little special needs group. And I understand they have 25 plus kids in their classroom, so it is harder and it is more time consuming, but that's what you signed up for. And I'm sure that child doesn't like that they need the extra help, but once they receive it, they can, achieve just like everybody else. So, thanks for watching.